Hi, and welcome to SimpleSpiritualityPH. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Regine. I am an intuitive, manifesting-based tarot reader. I am a certified Reiki healer and an overall lightworker. And before we dive into today's episode, I would like to invite everyone who would like to receive notifications of my new videos to please hit the subscribe button over there. If you like this video later on, please give it your thumbs up. If you have any comments, suggestions, you want to say, hey, please do comment them down below. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, here are the details. Alrighty, so let's get to the meat of the video. Now, today we are going to be, let me just check my notebook. We are actually going to go through some of the questions that have been sent to me during one of my live videos on Instagram. That's at SimpleSpiritualityPH. Now, we'll just go through them and I'm just going to answer them here because I know that maybe not everyone is following on Instagram and maybe some of you do have questions here, but you're not on Instagram. So, we're making these things accessible for people. All right. So we're just going to do the question. These are all anonymous. And by the way, you can ask me questions. We will answer them I will answer them as best as I can. And so let's start. Question number one is, question number one is, how did you get into tarot and Reiki? So this, I think I've said this countless of times, but it bears repeating because it's such a tender story to me. I think every tarot reader remembers when they get into tarot and Reiki, all of that stuff. But for me, it was actually my dog, Sid. So my dog, Sid, and maybe I'll flash like a little tiny picture of him here. And so my dog, Sid, he was old. He was at a very old age at that time. One of the people at the house actually accidentally stepped on his back. And as an old dog, you do need a bit more care and a bit more attention, right? Because your bones are brittle, like you just age, basically. And so someone stepped on his back and he was completely in pain. And we took him to the vet, and the vet said that, hey, you have to, you have to put him to sleep. And my hair is everywhere. And I could not make that decision. I was crying. I was really devastated. And I told people that I wanted to find someone who knows what my dog, Sid, wants. Like, I can't decide this for him. And so, I looked around and I found, Tin Jacinto. I went to her and I asked her what my dog wanted, what Sid wanted. And she posed the question back to me. She actually said, you actually know what your dog wants. He's already talking to you right now. And from then on, my mind just blew, I mean, I believed her. And I still do feel that I do know what Sid wanted. And I did, at that time, I was able to process it in such a way that everything just really opened up for me. It became like the way. And when we were discussing it, me and Dinner were discussing it at that time, she said that it's kind of like it's begun. Like your age of being, of using your intuitiveness, of using your claircognizance, it's already begun. And it was jump-started by this event in your life. And so after that, I went home and I remember I kept asking Sid what he wanted. And I just kept asking him. I was there, I was petting him, and I was asking him what he wanted. And I told him that, if you want to go, it's fine. But I just need to know what you want, basically. And true enough, like I know that some of you claircognizants out there will will empathize, sympathize, all empathize with me. But I knew exactly what Sid wanted, and that was to basically stay alive. So we didn't put him to sleep. We did bring him to the vet to have his to have the wound checked, to get painkillers for anything that he needed, and any maintenance medicines. And he was able to stay on until his 13th birthday. And after his 13th birthday, like a few weeks later, that's when he peacefully passed on um, in his sleep. Actually, that's not so true. I don't think it was that peaceful because I did hear him. I remember it was at night, and I did hear him crying. And even right now, it gets me a little teary eyed because I felt so guilty that I didn't go downstairs to see him. Sid sleeps downstairs in the kitchen. And so what happened was I heard him crying, but I thought I was dreaming. I didn't know that that was him. And then when I woke up, I went downstairs and saw that he had indeed passed on. And I told Tin about it, and she said that yes, it's full circle. Now you can actually move forward with your intuitiveness, armed with your intuitiveness, armed with your claircognizance, and all that stuff. Move forward with it. And I told her I'm really, really guilty about this. Like, I didn't go down. I heard him. Obviously, I heard him, but I didn't go downstairs. And then she went on to tell me, because she was channeling Sid at the time, she went on to tell me that Sid wanted it to be this way because had you gone down, he would have never left. Like, he was already tired, he wanted to go, and he was just crying because it was painful. But had you come down, it would never have stopped. And she also told me that now Sid is one of my, what do you call this? One of my spirit guides. So he's always with me. He's British, by the way. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting a little teary-eyed thinking. I don't know if you can see my eyes, you guys, but he was the epitome of what a really calm, good dog was. Everyone who was afraid of dogs would come to our house, and he would meet him and come out being a dog lover. That has been proven again and again. With my friends, with some of my family members who are afraid of dogs, there was no one that Sid could not convert because he was just that dog. So shout out to Sid. I know he's here around me, and he's always with me. He's my new spirit guide. He will always be with me. And even I remember that when I was discussing about it, when I was discussing Sid with Thin, she told me that Sid was actually such a pure soul that when he was given the choice to be like, what do you call this? He was given the choice to remain a pure soul or to go down to earth. And apparently Sid chose to go down to earth to be with me so that I could experience him. Like, I would be his project, so to speak. And now he's always with me. So that's how I got started into the whole spirituality thing. In terms of Reiki, oh, by the way, let's do it chronologically. In terms of that spirituality, right? In terms of tarot, after that, I got more open. Like, I was more open to and exposed to all of the spiritual modalities that we use as spiritualists and light workers all around, energy workers use, right? And one of them is tarot. And so one of my friends gifted me a zombie tarot deck. And from the zombie tarot deck, I took a photo of it, posted it on Instagram, and one of my cousins, who also reads tarot, told me that I am going to teach you because you feel like you're the type of person who's going to flourish with it. And he listened to his intuition, he taught me, and 8 years later, here I am, a professional tarot reader. Um, and I read both traditional and intuitive. So, I blend them together to make the most accurate reading possible. And then a little later on, that cousin and I, his name's Kuya Irwin, he and I attended a dowsing class by Tin again. And after the dowsing class, my head really, really hurt. And he told me, you know what, come here, I'm going to give you Reiki. And he performed Reiki on my head, and within 10 minutes, my headache was gone. And I told him, I need to learn how to do this as well. I have got a lot of energy. I have got, like my mind is so ripe for the training. I want to be able to use energy in this way as well. And that was it. That's how I got started into tarot and Reiki. So those two things particularly. All right. Now, question number 2. So question number 2, do you teach / mentor tarot reading? Right now I don't, although a lot of people say that they want to learn from me. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, okay. Maybe I can guess why. I think it's maybe because I read tarot very differently. I read tarot from the approach of a manifestation-based energy, right? So I always tell people that when you come to me with a question, yes or no, the answer is always yes, it's possible, regardless of whatever that question is, because we manifest every day. And I think that's one of the appeals that I have with people and wanting to know how to read tarot. Maybe I think people think that I will be able to impart knowledge very well, and they're kind of right on with that. I was spot on with that because I used to be a teacher in the past. When I first graduated college, I used to be a high school teacher. And so maybe they sniffed that part of me out, and that's kind of appealing to them, you know? Whatever their reason is, right now I am not, but I'm seriously thinking about it, you guys. Like, very seriously thinking of opening up how to read tarot uh, in a manifestational kind of way. Because let me just rant a little bit. I'm really annoyed when tarot readers are like, this is the absolute truth and nothing is going to change it. Well, hello, the cards don't decide for you. The person still decides. And it's all about the current energy, right? So that's totally, you guys, if you encounter a tarot reader like this, run, all right? Don't believe them 100% because you can always change your energy. You can always change the outcome. You can always change who you are at the very core. You can change everything that you don't want that is currently happening to you right now. All right? So, do you teach mentor tarot reading? Not at the moment, but watch out. I just might open a slot. Okay? I just might open a slot. Or maybe, I was thinking maybe I'll have pre-recorded videos and maybe people can just buy it in a package because as you guys know, I am currently a culinary student, so I probably won't have that much time to do so many workshops, but if I do that, I'll make it as concise and as easy as possible and as palatable as possible for you guys, all right? Question number 2. Now, let's move on to question number 3. Okay, so question number 3 was phrased in Tagalog, but don't worry, I'll translate it also afterwards. So, the translation, the original, let's read the original question. So the original question is, yung tarot po ba pang-predict ng future? Yung spirit guide po ba pumipili ng cards? So, in English, does the tarot predict the future? So that's the first part of question number 3. And the second part is, do spirit guides or are the spirit guides the ones who choose the cards? So this is actually the very interesting set of questions, for number 3. So let's go with the first part first, with tarot predicting the future. Now, in terms of predicting the future, there are so many possibilities to a future. There's not just one outcome, and even quantum physics will tell you that there are parallel realities, right? And so there is no one set future for the cards to predict. It's not like, so let's give a concrete example so it's more understandable for all of us. So let's say, for example, my favorite example is a millionaire. Let's say, for example, that you come to me today asking me if you're going to be a millionaire or not. And currently, I take out the cards, right? We have the reading, we take out the cards, and everything just says no. Everything just points to no. You're not going to be a millionaire, If you take that information and you do something about it in order to change it, then by tomorrow, your cards will be different. By tomorrow, you'll have a different set of cards. It's possible that you'll already have a different set of cards by tomorrow because you decided to do something about it. You decided to change the energy, the current energy that the cards were looking at. And so in terms of predicting the future, the cards um, can tap into a possible future, meaning one possible future. If you've ever watched, I forget the title of the Marvel movie, but the last one, right? Where Doctor Strange was going into all the possibilities, all the worlds. That's what it really is. There are an infinite number of possibilities, right? One of the things that I said during my live was, let's imagine I have a glass of water. One possibility, the closest possibility, is me drinking that water in the glass, right? That is the closest possibility. And if I was thirsty, the cards would probably say that yes, you're going to drink that water. But that's not the only possibility. I could take the water, spray my face with it. I could take the water, give it to my dog. I could take the water and then put it back in the pitcher. I could take the water and clean the glass with it. I could take the water, clean my face with it. I could take the water and water the plants with it. I could take the water and put it in a fish tank. I could take the water and put it down the drain. So many possibilities, right? And so tarot, in terms of predicting the future, can tap into one of those possibilities. But and that possibility will usually be the closest possibility, meaning what is the next thing that's most logically going to happen, energetically going to happen based on your current energy. So again, take the example of the water, right? If I was thirsty and I have a glass of water, the tarot would predict the closest possible future, which is me drinking the water. Right? Because my energy is that of I am thirsty and I need something to quench my thirst. And so the tarot will see that. The tarot will see that energy. Right? But if internally I'm thirsty, but I'm saying to myself that no, I'm not going to drink a glass of water, then the tarot might probably see that I'm not going to drink the water. Right? So it all depends on that. It can see into one possible future, but you don't have to take this future as the holy grail, If you don't like what the cards are saying, change it. Plain and simple. And the second part is about the spirit guides, right? So it does happen that you can be a little stubborn and your spirit guides are trying to help you. Especially, let's say, for example, you've been asking for help, you don't know what to do. Your spirit guides are probably listening. They're listening in 24/7. And so it can happen that a spirit guide will kind of like channel itself into the card and say, hey, could you give this answer to my ward? Could you give this answer to the person that I am helping out because they don't seem to be, they don't seem to be getting the message of me answering, So it does happen that sometimes the spirit guides go through the cards in order to give you a message, in order to give you the answer that you've been looking for, the answer that you've been asking for them. So it does happen, but not all the time. Basically, cards, they get the energy, right? You guys are going to see me fix my hair a lot because it's so hot here in the Philippines. But I still want to look good on camera. So, yes, it does happen that your spirit guides want to talk to you enough to channel themselves through the cards and talk to you directly through them. All right? So it's possible. Next, let's go for question number 4. So question number 4 is also, Question number 4 is also written in Filipino, and I'll read the original one, and we're going to go translate it afterwards, all right? So, the question number 4 is how to manifest. Bakit parang may harang? Feeling ko. All right, so that's question number 4. It's divided into 2 again. So question number 4, the first one is how to manifest. This is such a loaded question. But Short and simple. You don't even have to try to manifest. Ever since the day we were born, we've been manifesting. Like, we can't stop it even if we wanted to. It's not like a switch we can say that, oh, I don't want to manifest today, I'll turn it off. No, you can't do that. You manifest even when you're asleep. That's the reason why I, for example, do not watch horror movies right before bed. I do not watch, action movies right before bed. I do not watch things of murder and crime right before bed because my subconscious mind is super impressionable when I'm asleep. And when something goes into your subconscious mind, it's much more easily pushed out. It's much more easily manifested. As Neville Goddard would say, right? You take it into your sleep with you. And it just pushes out automatically because it did enter your subconscious mind. And so I don't do that. So even when we're asleep, we manifest. So manifesting, you don't really have to try so hard. But I think manifesting in general can be broken down into two. So you have the one where you don't try so hard, where you manifest everything automatically, I want to say, like unconsciously and subconsciously. And you have one where you have specific things that you want to enter your life, right? For me, the things that I consciously manifest, or that I have consciously manifested in the past. Free tickets, always the free tickets, always stuff for free. I manifested my dog, love, manifested friends, manifested money, So those are the conscious things that I notice that I want, and I get them, and I manifest them consciously. So basically, how to manifest is a very loaded question, but the very simple way to say is basically whatever you feel, think, believe, focus on, and you do it constantly. You do it consistently, you do it repetitively. You feel, think, believe, and focus on a thing, a belief, something in general. It doesn't have to be, because, okay, this is all over the place. But you manifest different, we manifest, not different, we manifest negative, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but we do manifest negative scenarios very easily. And that is because we did nothing to stop them, right? Like, let's say, for example, a worst case scenario. We always think about a worst case scenario. We always focus on a worst case scenario. We always believe a worst case scenario could happen, right? Even though it's really, really like far off. And it happens because we don't stop it. We don't stop that feel, think, believe, and focusing on it enough for it not to manifest. And you could do that with the positive things as well, with the things that you want as well. So how you manifest a negative thing is the same way you manifest a positive thing. You feel, think, believe, focus on it, or either just one of the above. I have had I wish there was one. Sorry, I do have like something, like, I think it's fur. I think it's Miso's fur. So I have had manifestations where I didn't believe in it yet, but it had happened already. I have had manifestations where I didn't need to repeatedly focus on it, but it does happen. Like the feeling of it once was enough for it to happen. And these are usually things that I don't have resistance to. I have had manifestations where, again, like, I did not believe in it and happening. I didn't feel that it was going to happen, but they manifested anyway. This happened when I was leaving for New York in December. I needed a government, I was lacking one government document, and the government, there are a lot of people, right, asking for these documents, and so I wasn't sure if I was going to get it in time. And it was probably 3 days into it that I just kept affirming, and I just kept visualizing that, okay, I already have this document. I would imagine it in my hand, but I felt nothing inside, and I was ready to rebook my flight. I didn't feel that I was going to get it, but I did. I happened to get it. And so those things have happened. I have erased people in the past, people who were not to my liking. Like, I had an office mate in the past who was really like, he had a smarmy look to him, and he would always like hit on women, and it was very uncomfortable, and I didn't feel safe. And he actually stayed in front of me. He sat in front of me, so I would see him every day. But in my mind's eye, I would erase him mentally. I would be in the feeling of fear every day, looking at him and like just being there in the same room with him. So my feeling was on fear, right? But in my mind, every time I felt that, I would erase him mentally. So I would take a huge eraser and I would just erase him completely in my mind until he was gone, right? And I would do that repeatedly. Every time I felt the fear, I would do that again and again. That was my counter to it. That was how I addressed it. And for the first few months, nothing happened. Um, and then I remember like the fourth month or the fifth month, he got into an argument with our boss and he started to sit somewhere else. And I said, okay, that's better, but I don't know about like, what are the safety implications? Just because he sits somewhere else doesn't mean that he's not going to make a pass at me, right? And by this time, people were already complaining about him. Like, women were already complaining about him. Like, other women, you know. And so I said, I would just like to erase this person once and for all. You know, like, erase meaning like remove myself out of the equation, remove him from the equation altogether. And so I did that, and by the sixth month, he passed in his resignation. So it took me 6 months to erase someone who I would see every day and have fear with every day. So yeah, I mean, there are many different ways to manifest. There's not just one way to manifest. Let's make a deep dive on it sometime soon, you know? So that was a loaded question, but thank you for that. It was very nice. It was a very nice question. Second question is, bakit parang may harang feeling ko? So that means, translated, that means, why does it feel like there's a blockage? I feel like there's a blockage. You know, there's a block towards me getting, maybe in the context of manifesting here. But basically, whatever you feel, think, believe, and focus on to be true will be true. So if you think there's a block, there is, you know? And usually, not usually, 100% of the time, the only blocks to manifesting the stuff that we want is ourselves. So for this, I would suggest a deep dive on what you think that block is. Like, determine what it is first, you know? Like, what is it? What does it feel like? What can you describe it? You know, give it a name so that it's much easier to kind of like approach it head on and get rid of it, so to speak. All right? Now, that was question number 4, right? Yes, question number 4. Question number 5. Okay, question number 5. How does one know if it's time to seek Reiki healing? So how does one know if it's time to seek Reiki healing? Usually this is going to be a pull towards you, you know, like, it's something that you won't be able to deny. Like, you know for a fact that you want to try it, that you need it, sometimes both, that you need it or you want to try it. Sometimes you're very curious about it and you just need to satisfy that curiosity, right? Or sometimes for some people, it feels like they really do need help, but they don't know where to start. And they see Reiki as a starting point. Usually that's a good indication. You know, but even if you're just curious about it, that's already an indication that something inside of you is already pulling you to have the Reiki session. The very fact that you're curious about it is already kind of like a signal to you that it's okay for you to have Reiki, that it's possible that Reiki can help you with what you're wanting, you know, whatever it is. So those are already indications. The mere fact that you're curious is already a starting point. So question number 6. So question number 6, and this is the last question. Question number 6, can you read tarot for yourself? Yes, I can. Very, very straightforward. I can read tarot for myself. And I used to do it every time. I used to do it when I was still new to it. of course, I would do it to practice, right? I would like ask questions. I would use different kinds of spreads, yes or no spreads, Celtic crosses, spreads that I would see on Pinterest, spreads that I would see like just anywhere in general, anywhere I would come across a spread. But now I hardly do it. I hardly read tarot for myself because I think I've gotten to the point where I'm very much into my own energy, where I don't really need the cards to tell me what my energy is. And that is something that I've been honing and developing for years now. You know, sometimes for people it's much easier to use the cards to kind of decipher what their real energy is, where their real energy lies, what is their thinking place, what is their feeling place at, and that's totally fine. It's just that for me, I've trained myself enough to know when something is going right, when something is going wrong, when something is bothering me, when my energy is kind of like off kilter, when my energy needs to be fixed or cleaned up, so to speak. So I have trained myself to do that without consulting the cards. But when I really get stuck, when I'm really like confused, usually I do this when I'm confused. Confused about my own energy or confused about a decision that I'm going to be making, or in general, just confused. I usually consult the cards to see what percentage my energy is in. Or I will use a pendulum to see where my energy really lies at, because sometimes I just don't know. There are situations where it's just like, okay, I need a little help, and I'm going to check the cards for confirmation. Or I'm going to check my pendulum to see if my energy is really here, or my energy is really there, or my energy is really elsewhere, that kind of thing. So yes, I do read tarot for myself sometimes. I can read tarot for myself sometimes. So yeah, that's it. Those are all the questions. So I hope this was a very fun video for you. I had fun answering them. This is from my cousin Sashi. She gave this to me, and it's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Sashi. So I hope you had fun answering and discovering those questions and answers with me today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, suggestions you want to say, hey, please do comment them down below. If you would like to receive notifications of my new videos, please hit the subscribe button over there. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, here are the details. And that's it. Stay happy, stay healthy. I will have another live session on Instagram on Wednesday, which is August 10. That's tomorrow, actually. Go check it out if you want, if you have Instagram. If not, I'm probably going to compile all the questions again and answer them here sometime. So yeah, see you there, see you here, wherever you prefer. All right? See you guys next time. Bye.